I'm on my way to the mall to do a very special interview this morning. I get to interview actually one of the girls that I somewhat kind of grew up with. She's from the same hometown as me, Columbia, South Carolina. I never imagined that we would grow up and be living in Africa together, living in Gambia, you know? So it's so exciting. It's so exciting. So I hope that you guys enjoy our interview. I used to follow you on Snapchat whenever you were first coming. I think I actually got to witness you first coming to Gambia for the first time. And you were posting like the monkey park and all that. Was that your first time?
It may have been. My first time was in 2016, I believe, or maybe 2017. March of 2017 is my first time, so it could have been, because every time I come, I feel like I post the same things, just recycle. Well, not recycle, but I just see the same things, so I continue to post. So yeah. So it could have been.
So I always wanted to ask you. I never got to ask you. Like initially, when you first arrived to Gambia, like what was your initial emotions?
Absolutely culture shock. I have traveled before. I went to South America and different places, the islands and things like that, but never to the continent of Africa. Honestly, I never even heard of Gambia before meeting my husband. So yeah, I had no idea what to expect, but I was just that average tourist taking pictures of every single thing, weirded out a few locals because they're like, okay, we don't like being on camera and you're taking pictures. But yeah, I was just trying to absorb everything. So I was just trying to immerse myself as well. So I didn't want to like, wow, like this is, I don't like this, I don't like that. I was just trying to, you know, just soak it all in. But yeah, just a little culture shock, just coming from the concrete jungle of America and seeing so much dirt and non-paved roads here. I was like, okay, this is different.
Yeah. So was it any thing similar to what you had in mind, or was it completely different, or was there like a myth versus reality?
Honestly, I go into everything blind. Like I didn't read books before my pregnancy. I'm just like, oh, I'll just experience it for the first time. Like I don't read reviews, so like, because somebody's experiences could be different from mine, or like most likely they will be. So I didn't research it or anything. I was just like, all right, we're going, let's hop on the plane and go. So I didn't watch videos, I didn't do anything. So
really?
No.
Not even one YouTube video?
No. Honestly, you're the first YouTube channel that I followed, like talking about Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just, like I said, I'm like, well, it's gonna be my experience, so let me experience it. I don't want to have any preconceived notions or anything like that. But one thing that I love touching down is everybody gives salams, and like to see so many Muslims, like even though they're not covered, or some are, so like people here are you'll see niqabi and you'll see like American, like Western dress, jeans and everything. So, but to get salams from everybody, that was definitely a shock. To see so many black people, that was definitely a shock. I'm not like from a hip town, but just like to see so many, like only black people basically, other than the tourists. So that was, that was all good culture shocks. Yeah.
Whose idea was it? How did you guys come up with the idea to move?
Yeah. Well, my husband is he's Gambian, so we both met in the U.S. at work. So that's how we started. Well, that's how I started visiting. After we got married, we came and visited and everything like that. So I came about 5 visits before moving here. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Everyone doesn't get to do that.
I know. Alhamdulillah, I was fortunate in that aspect. So every time the first time we came only for 2 weeks, and then after that it was at least a month, or 6 weeks every time. So, but yeah, ultimately it was a joint decision. When we discussed it, it was always, we'll move at retirement age. So like, that's always what I had in mind. Like, all right, when I'm old and like, we can settle down there. But what sped up the process, honestly, was the children. I'm a mother of 4, so my oldest is 5-year-old girl, 3-year-old boy, and then 1-year-old twins. So, we had a masjid. We had 3 masjids right around us in America. 2 or 5 minutes away, and then 1 15 minutes. So my daughter was going to preschool at the one that was 5 minutes away. So it just became maybe a year ago, we had decided, okay, what is she going to do for first grade or for kindergarten? So the school that she was going to, the masjid, only did pre-K at the moment because it was under construction. So now I think this next school year they'll actually be, and I'm like, oh, all right. So now they have more grades. Should we go back?
It was just meant to be.
I know. But that was really what it was. Just hearing some of the things that my daughter was coming home with. She was in the preschool, and then my son was in a non-Muslim daycare. So like, and then when my daughter was out of school, she was also in the daycare. So just hearing some of the things that she was picking up, like from the culture of the American culture, just things that I didn't want her to be exposed to so early, such as holidays, and I just want her to have a stronger Islamic foundation before being exposed to more. So that's what it really came down to, was what is she going to do for school. And the masjid that was 15 minutes away, they had a wait list for their school. So it's just like, okay, I don't feel confident in my homeschooling abilities. I would really like for her to go to an Islamic school for that foundation. So yeah, so we moved here. We were like, okay, my in-laws are here, my husband's family is here. We'll have more of a connection. Like I said, 1-year-old twins, and so just to have more help. And school was one of the main things. School, help, and then for a less expensive lifestyle as well. Yeah, so overall, betterment of the family. Okay.
Like, were you expecting to see those images that are stuck in your head, you know, when you got here?
I don't know if you remember growing up after booty scratchers and all of that, or whatever. Anyway, just the derogatory.
Yes, that was popular in the 90s. Yeah. The 90s, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, like, what about huts? And like, so that was honestly what I would have envisioned, like huts and like mud houses and things like that, and uncivilized, like not civilized, but like not, this is a mall. Like, I didn't expect it to be advanced at all. Mind you, it's not that advanced compared to other countries, but it's a lot more than.
Didn't your husband tell you? Like, didn't he?
No, that's the thing. That was like,
mean.
I know. It was just like going in eyes wide open, just prepared for anything. Yeah. But when I got here, I mean, of course they do, like in the villages and provinces, they do have those things, but it's like the mud houses and clay houses and the straw roofs and things like that. But it's not like they're missing anything. Like some of when I was posting and things like that, and I was showing like the ladies, they walk far distances and carry the wood on their head so they can go and like make dinner for their family and burn the wood and have open fires and things like that. Yeah, one of my friends, social media friends, was like, oh, how can we get them a stove? And I was like, that's not what they need here.
Or
like, right, that's not what they need or want, like this. So it was just like some of that adjustment to get that those images out of my head, and yeah, people are perfectly content. Yeah, I don't think homelessness exists here. Like, if you see people laying out, it's because they're napping or resting. It's not because they're houseless or anything like that. So
they would never believe that.
Yeah,
they would never believe
it. Like you'll literally see people like laying here underneath the bridge, but it's midday. They just ate lunch, so they're resting. So it's not.
They're soaking up the sun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a shocker. Another thing is it's a lot of trash on the ground. So that's not something I expected. And I was like, okay, so since that's there, maybe some other things won't matter, like such as adherence and things like that. But although it's like dirt on the ground, people are very prideful here. So they have a lot of pride in their appearance, and like my husband's like, we gotta get the car washed. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, it's dirt roads, but no. And then I heard other family, like a nephew, like, yeah, let's go get the car washed. And I'm like, okay. And then our car's a little bit banged up, like, oh, my husband wants to get it painted. I'm like, why waste the money? And then I hear from another family member, yeah, y'all should get the car. Like, so it's like, out of things that I didn't think would matter to me, like they're very, very prideful people and carry themselves well. I know that's completely off topic
no, it's not.
In reality, but
no, it's really not. It's not. You know, it's also one of the shockers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Like my kids were going to school, and I was just sending them to school the first week. Y'all are having hygiene issues. I'm like, hygiene issues? What are you talking about? Oh, their uniforms aren't ironed. They're and I'm like, that's
You're
not
kidding me?
Yeah. So they are very very, like I said, particular, prideful people that like present themselves, not even present themselves, because that's just the way they are. Like
you hadn't started ironing their uniform?
Yeah. So that's not so, like I hadn't picked up. I would pick up an iron in America for Eid. Like that was it.
Yeah.
But or the clothes in the dryer.
Yeah.
But no, here, I press. I have an iron day now. Where I'm pressing the
so you can meet the Gambian standards for school uniform hygiene.
They send kids home like if your uniform isn't like if you're missing a button or if you're not iron or like yeah.
So about the school, because you're the first one that I'm actually getting the opportunity to talk to that actually has their children enrolled in they're in an international school, both of them,
yes.
your school-age children. How did they adjust?
Very well. So when we inquired about the school on one of our visits before, we just thought you take an assessment test and that was it. But at one school in particular, my daughter, she took the assessment test, but then there was a wait list. So that was like a shocker. We're like, you didn't tell us that before. So because of that wait list, unfortunately my children are at two different schools, but they're both international schools, both accredited, and they're Cambridge University curriculum and everything. But the first, I would say, week or two was very, very hard. My daughter coming home crying. My 5-year-old, she's a social butterfly. So she's like, I don't have any friends or anything like that. But now, alhamdulillah, like they're both thriving, and everybody knows my daughter's name at school. From the security guard to the clean, like everybody, like she gets to walk to her car every day. The older grade students know her, so I'm like she's just very well adjusted. I think the course load is a little heavy. She just had exams a couple of weeks ago, so it was 11 exams for the week because she has 11 courses, including 4 languages. So that's also putting me back in school, and I'm having to Google a lot. I don't know all these languages that you're studying.
I'm curious, what languages?
English, Arabic, Turkish, and French for my daughter.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm definitely having to, Turkish and French, no clue.
So you're Googling? Going on YouTube.
Exactly.
Okay.
Taking pictures of her homework, Google Translate. Yeah, perfect. Like great. That's a great helper. Yeah.
Mashallah.
So alhamdulillah, she's doing well. And my son at his school, he's doing well as well. He behaves better at school than he does at home. I'm like, are we talking about the same kid here? But yeah, they're both adjusted well, love school, love everybody's auntie and uncle, like all the teachers. They're thriving. I'm trying to decide for next school year which one school to send them to. So that's the dilemma that we're in now. So I'm doing a lot of groundwork with that now. One of my daughter's schools is actually also in the U.S., but it's in a state that we don't live in. Mm-hmm. So I just was on the phone with them yesterday, sending them emails. So I'm just trying to figure out what one school to send them to.
Yeah,
and it's also exposing us to a lot because they both had cultural day at their schools. So I got to see all of not all, but a lot of the Gambian cultures that I didn't even know, like Sarahulis and Menjais and Fula Jola. I mean, they got like everybody was there putting on for their city, so to speak.
I hope I get to see that next time.
I know.
I hope I get an invite, friend.
Sorry. Oh, I didn't even. She just had hers last Saturday. I couldn't.
Oh, you're wrong for that.
I know. I didn't even think to. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I'm
busy
just like
here.
in a bubble. Yeah.
I'm just joking.
No,
I'm kind of serious, but I'm just joking. I mean, I know, like we're moms, and we have our, our lives, our busy lives.
Yeah.
So, you have a very interesting plan, your future goals that we got into a little tad bit at the beach. You told me a little bit, about your plans. So, you didn't move to Gambia with the intentions of just like Gambia like forever, right. So I found that to be really interesting. There's so much that I wanted to ask you that we always like chasing kids when we get together, and we never really get to sit down and really talk about it.
Woo, a breather.
But you came and so how did you do that? Let's start with that, and then you can tell about like the living plans, the travel plans. So how did you do your compound?
So my husband started it before we were married, so he had been building it for years. which is very hard to do on one salary in America, to sustain yourself in America and send money back to build and send money back to support some family members. So it was a very long process, and it wasn't even built completed the first time we visited. We were in Airbnbs the first time. Yeah, so I would say at least 10 years, and probably triple the amount of money that it would have cost living here. It cost to send money, just because, like we need this, we need that. You can't really and you're just sending money. You come back and you have half a foundation that's built. So it's a very hard and strenuous process. But being here, that also helped us with getting everything completed quicker. But yeah, so we're in our own compound. We have a few parlor rooms, so we have family. I have a nephew that's staying there now as security. But that's pretty much it. Me, the 4 kids, because my husband's traveling right now, and then the nephew outside. Our plans are to be in Gambia for the school year, so from about September until June, and then go to the U.S. to visit in the summers. And we'll do that maybe 5 to 8 years. So maybe by the time my daughter is high school age, we'll settle back in America, where we still have our home there and everything.
So why is it that you plan to go back and settle back there versus staying here, even though she would be in the accredited international school?
Honestly, it's just for purposes of diploma, basically. I just know a friend that moved from Egypt her senior year, and she just missed a few courses that's only offered in the US, history and earth science, some courses. So she had to repeat a grade in order to graduate with her US high school diploma, and then for her to go to university there. So I just was thinking to avoid that. I just wanted to make sure that they received all of the credits that were needed to graduate in the U.S. In Gambia, they only have one university, and I just wanted, honestly, just having papers from the U.S., it just gives you a little bit more advantages throughout the world. Security, throughout the world. So with my daughter's school, it's the Turkish school here, and if she graduates from there, she can go to a university in Turkey for free. So I know.
What?
I know. Yeah, so that's what I was talking to them about. Yeah.
Wow.
So I went to talk to the school here, and then I called the school that's in the U.S. and I'm like, do y'all have the same programs? I know she's only in first grade, so I'm just trying to think ahead, but. Yeah, so that's basically just for
okay.
School,
I was just curious.
Yeah. I mean, if it turns into 9th grade, 10th grade, but that was honestly, that's all it is.
So I was really, really interested in that. That's the first time that I had heard that, to spend the summer. Although, a lot of people do that, but I never sat down personally and spoke to someone that was their plan.
Yeah.
Everyone that I spoke to was just I'm never going back.
Yeah. Well, I still have family. My mom is there, my siblings are there, so I still have that connection. Even though my mom, she just left a month ago, but she doesn't want to leave America, and I'm not trying to bring her here. So I still want those family ties, and I don't want my kids to grow up with just one side of their family.
Absolutely.
And even if it's not America the whole 3 months, we would like to travel more. That was another reason why I'm moving, just the cost of living, to be able to live and not just try to maintain our day-to-day living. Yeah, so just travel in general, but definitely visit the US.
So what were your top 2 fears of coming to Gambia?
Permanently, honestly, when I was in America, all I kept talking about was Amazon. I don't know. I have so much stuff going to the house right now. My husband said they're going to need to hire a new driver just to. I'm like, oh yeah, you need this.
That's your addiction.
Exactly. No, I don't know. It's just every little thing I think of, I'm like, oh, add it to the cart, add it to the cart. So that, and they're just missing mainly my mom. My siblings that are there, my brothers, they're boys, whatever. But my mom's my best friend.
They're not gonna appreciate that.
I mean, this is true. We get most of our gossip through my mom. Anyway, we have once a week family calls and everything. But I don't know. They're just tight-lipped adult males. I don't get a whole lot from them anyway. But I do miss everybody. But especially my mom. That's my best friend. But biggest fears. Honestly, when I was coming visiting, they call it semesters. Like when you just visit for like a few weeks or a month, they're like, oh, that's a semester. So it was just in my mind, like going from being a semester to a full-time resident. I was like, the family's not gonna treat us the same. Like they're not gonna be all over us. Like I'm gonna be fending for myself and trying to figure everything out. But alhamdulillah, it's been working out. But I think that was mainly my biggest fear, was me being around my in-laws versus my family, my blood, like my first line of family. So I thought, I know we moved here for the help of our in-laws, but I also know some of them, we don't speak the same language, and I was just honestly afraid of isolation. That was, I would say, one of my biggest fears. I just came up with that on the spot. Like, I didn't even know I had a fear. Okay, but talking about... I had to pull it out. I'm like, I'm gonna get this out of her. A therapy session. Yeah, so that's the word I would label it. It's probably isolation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Whenever you were coming, traveling back and forth through the summers, throughout the summers, like your 6-week stays, what were you doing? Like, what were you guys doing to prepare for your move? Like, were you working on the compound, or like, what were you doing? I'm being nosy.
Yeah.
During that time.
Well, honestly, we didn't know we were moving until like months before we actually moved. So everything that we were doing on our visits, it was just like, all right.
For retirement? For 65?
Yeah. Well, for our vacation home, and for like making our home an Airbnb, and like maybe even families. Like we were just preparing it, like not knowing it was going to be us. Yeah. So on our visits, we were literally doing all the tourist stuff, like the crocodile park, monkey bar, like doing all the tourist stuff, visiting family. That takes up a lot of time, and yeah, that was and working on the home, but it wasn't like, all right, well, we're moving here in 2 years, so let's get it right. Like that was.
I had it all wrong.
Yeah,
like I made so many assumptions, and I'm so shocked.
Yeah,
this is real. Like I'm hearing this for the first time. Like I'm thinking all throughout that time, you were like, okay, we're going to be moving. You're like, okay, I'm going to move there at retirement.
Yeah. So this was us moving here was literally a last minute decision. Like I said, we didn't know what we were going to do. We actually. Packing up the last month, I don't know, I just thought I had more time than we did. I left like half of my home there. Like we got all the big stuff, but I sent my mom and my brothers in, and they were cleaning the home and moving the rest of our stuff out like weeks after I had already moved here. Putting everything in storage for us, and then we're like, all right, so what do we do with our home now? Like trying to figure that out and be here. So all right, let's rent it, let's sell it, let's do it. So yeah, we didn't have anything, like we didn't have a solid plan. We just knew we wanted to be here in time for the school year. Knew school started in September. We moved here August 26th, 2023.
What was the time link like? When you guys talked about it, like, oh no, like the kids are picking up things, we have to go. Like, what was the time between when you made that decision and then when you actually moved?
I would say we got serious maybe January of 2023. Yeah, we didn't purchase our tickets until June or July of 2023.
Within 6 months, you said we have to go, now.
I mean, it was always a discussion, but it was also, all right, let's see what we can make shake in America. Like, let's see what can work out here. But once, we weighed out all the options, we were like, all right, well, it is what it is. Like,
Mashallah. We plan and Allah plans.
Exactly.
Allah is the best planners. You had no idea. Mashallah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to hear that story, and I'm so lucky that you're allowing me to record it and I get to share it with the world.
Of course.
Yeah, mashallah. So, what would be your best advice for someone that's planning to move together?
So some advice that I would give is to lower your expectations, or I would say manage your expectations. You can do all the reading in the world, you can do all of the viewing of videos in the world, but your experience is going to be your experience. So someone can paint the picture, but when you come and do it for yourself, just set your expectations, but you're not expecting everything to go to plan as you saw it or as you anticipated it. And I'd say just humble yourself. It's just a different lifestyle, different way of living here. So some things that work for us may not work. I tell my friends all the time, when you're getting married, like put your toothpaste on your toothbrush a different way than your sibling. So imagine somebody from a different household or a different like part of the world. So just keep that in mind, that there are multiple ways of doing one thing, and to just be an observer and not to just jump in and say what you can change, and just, yeah, I would say that would be my advice in terms of when you're already here. In terms of when you're on your way, I would just say just prepare yourself for the journey. It is a long journey depending on where in the US you're coming from, about maybe 24 hours. So just prepare yourself for that, and maybe bring less than what you think you'll need. You can find a lot of things here. It may be a little while, so just bring your necessities, I would say. But yeah, that would be my advice.
I would say, first of all, just do it. Me, I'm the type of person that's like really like go with the wind. Like if you don't like it, you can always leave. So yeah, it doesn't have to be permanent. It's not like I can only move one time and this has to be it. Like you can come, try it out, see if you like it. I can't say that it's nicknamed the Smiling Coast. Everyone is very friendly, open, accepting of foreigners. Let me say advice.
Would you say that a person needs to save up? I don't talk about money too much because it just varies.
Yeah.
You know, some people don't have time to save up $20,000,
right.
40, whatever. What would you think is more important? Like moving to Gambia with a lump sum of money, or moving with small savings and a residual income, like coming from the US, like a stable income coming from the US?
Honestly, what's working for us is a small sum with a residual income. Like my husband says all the time, like you need to start living like a local. And I'm like, well, we need this, and this. Like, just send me money. So I don't think I can maintain my lifestyle without a residual income. And it's a lot easier of a transition for that to happen. I think it would be very difficult to just come and then just immediately change your lifestyle. But you can do both, honestly, a lump sum, but you just would have to make it stretch. Like one of our friends, mutual friend from the group that we're in, she said when she first got here, she was thinking that the money here is like monopoly money. Like, oh, it's colorful, and oh, this is only $1. Like you're equating everything, like the currency and everything, and just spending money like whatever, but you cannot do. Like you have to have a savings. But I think residual income definitely
More important,
right,
than the savings.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, we honestly came here maybe on one paycheck. Like we didn't have, but we also had a home to come to, a furnished home, and things that were already set up. So we came with tuition fees, and then we were just living here, waiting for my husband's next paycheck from America. Like,
what?
Honestly, yeah, we did not come
well,
here.
there you have it. There you have it.
Yes.
So if you have, yeah.
Oh, and I just also wanted to clarify that my husband, we moved here together in August, and he just had to leave in December because of work. So that was never the plan either. He's in America now, and then, but he does plan to come pick us up. We go visit America, and then we come back to Gambia permanently forever. Well, not, but together.
You know you want to be here forever.
I know. It is nice. We got this breeze. It's February, March now, and
Yeah, the weather is nice this morning.
Yeah.
We need to just go to the beach after this.
I know.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aziza. I grew up in South Carolina, but I came from North Carolina to Gambia. We had been in North Carolina for about 15 years before moving. And alhamdulillah, we did move with a family of 6, my husband and myself, and 4 kids. My husband's traveling right now for work, but we'll be back soon, inshallah, and we plan to live here together. He's Gambian, I'm American. So on one of our visits, as Amita mentioned, I would always just post everything to my social media. She said she followed me, but I'm not a YouTuber like her. I just, on my personal pages, I was just posting things. And alhamdulillah, people were just very surprised by the conditions here, and just, I don't know, just shocked. You know, some of us aren't fortunate to even leave America, so to see other parts of the world, it was like, wow, like this is pretty cool. So I was able to raise money to build a well during one of those visits. Like people were just donating I didn't solicit or anything like that. So after building that first well, I was like, oh, well, maybe we can like make this into something. So my husband and I started the Barakah Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization registered both in the US and the Gambia. Barakah in Arabic means blessing, and then in here in the Gambia it also means thank you, a barakah. So if somebody does something, you say a barakah to say thank you. So it kind of had you know, ties for us, so that's why we chose the name. But it's just a nonprofit organization that we just help the society of Gambia in what little way we can, with building wells and boreholes, which is the tank and where water can come from, the tap. The website is Barakah, BARAKAHFND, the abbreviation for foundation.org. So barakahfnd.org. You'll see our whole story on there. And here it's not just for everyone, it's not just turning on water or turning on the tap rather, and water just flowing. A lot of families and people have to walk far distances to fetch water and bring it back home in buckets for cooking, cleaning, bathing, just the basic necessities. We don't realize how much water we use. In America, we'll leave the water running while washing dishes or leave it running while brushing our teeth and things like that, but that's just not an amenity that people have here. In addition to that, we do other socioeconomic projects, just like small ones, like feeding for Ramadan. Amita, alhamdulillah, one year we were still in America. She did all the groundwork for us by getting gifts and goats for different communities. She went to an orphanage for us and took some Eid gifts there, and also a goat to slaughter for Eid. So just different projects that we like to do, but our main focus is building wells, and we actually opened one this week. We inaugurated a well for a friend of ours that she wanted to fund it herself. So the well is in her name, but what we normally do is just take donations from $1 to as much as you want. I know one person did 1,000, so any range, and then we just put it all in a pot basically, and then use that to fund our well projects. But yeah, it's we're just also trying to teach our kids to be charity, give backs. Like Amita mentioned, Sadaqah Jariyah. So this is inshallah will reward you even after passing. So I've had people donate in the name of loved ones that have passed away. So inshallah, it'll be a continuous reward in this life and the next, for both the giver and the recipient, inshallah.
Inshallah. Aziza, thank you so much.
No problem.
I showed him that we did in fact go to the beach after our interview.